Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, there was a village at the edge of the forest called Hamelin. Hamelin was an ordinary little town. It had mothers and fathers and grandparents. It had dogs and cats. But one thing it did not have was butterflies. Hordes and hordes of butterflies descended from the mountain lands and swept through the streets. There were so many butterflies that the sun disappeared beneath a cloud of beating wings. A carpet of bright butterflies covered every street, rooftop, and treetop. The children of the village loved the butterflies. They ran in parks and gardens, trying to touch them. But the butterflies were clever and vaulted higher than they could reach. They laughed at them in their teensy, tiny little butterfly giggles. The people of Hamelin gathered together one evening in the village gazebo to discuss what could be done. "They are making a mess with their flying dust," said the town mayor. "Everything is blue and red and yellow. Look." He held up his fingers. His fingers were indeed every color of the rainbow. "The children cannot concentrate at school," said the principal. "They keep looking out the window and watching all the butterflies." "Perhaps we should all take butterfly nets and catch them," said one of the parents. And so they handed out butterfly nets to everyone in the village. The people tried to catch the butterflies with butterfly nets, but those clever butterflies just wafted higher and laughed at them with their teensy tiny butterfly giggles. "I know a boy," said a baker several days after, when they had all given up in despair. "He has a reputation for removing butterflies." And so the people of Hamelin sent a message, and the next day, the boy arrived at their gazebo. "I will get rid of your butterflies," he said. "But in payment, I'd like you to give food to the poor families in the next town. Enough apples and oranges for a year. That is my payment to get rid of your butterflies." "We'll do anything," said the people of Hamelin. "Get rid of the butterflies and we will give food to the poor families." So the boy came early the next morning with a kind of magic flute. From the moment he put the flute to his lips, an enchanted song, the kind that is irresistible to butterflies, began to lift in the air, and all those butterflies were hypnotized. They rose in the air and flew behind the boy and his gorgeous music. It looked like a magnificent rainbow was following him as he left the village. The people of Hamelin looked around. They had their village back. The trees looked like trees now. Ordinary trees, no longer carpeted in butterflies. The flying dust was carried away by the wind, and the children, with nothing to look outside the window at, turned their eyes to their school books and concentrated again. Perhaps they were a little less happy, but they had known the butterflies for such a short time that they quickly forgot it. But the people of the village also seemed to forget something else. They forgot their promise to give apples and oranges to the poor families. And when the boy who had removed the butterflies reminded them, they said, "Nonsense, the butterflies were flying away anyway." And so one morning at dawn, the boy with the magic flute stood at the hill at the edge and began to play. This time, he played the kind of music that was irresistible to children. It was music that reminded them of cuddles and birthday parties and soap bubbles, and being at the top of the seesaw. All the children in Hamelin woke up in their beds and followed that enchanted music. They gathered in the streets and, laughing and dancing, followed the boy out of the village and into the forest, never to be seen again. When the people of Hamelin woke up and discovered that their children had gone, they were very sorry. "We will pay your apples and oranges to the poor people," they begged the boy. "Only give back our children." But the problem was that the children had been taken to a magical land where they had music all day and danced with the butterflies. The children found that they loved dancing with the butterflies to music, and the butterflies also loved dancing with the children. The boy said, "The children don't want to come home unless they can bring the butterflies with them." The people of the village said, "Yes, yes, bring them home to us and the butterflies too. They can all stay in Hamelin forever." And so the boy played his magical music one last time, and the children and butterflies returned together to the village. And from that moment on, the village of Hamelin was always covered in butterflies and flying dust. And in celebration of their return, the townspeople gave apples and oranges to the poor families forevermore.